Hello, welcome to the kitchen of Papa Joe. We're going to be making pizza today, or the dough anyway. So I recommend Caputo's flour, double O, very fine flour. It's great for pizza, pastry. You can get it in finer grocery stores or on Amazon. So you take your cup, 1 cup of warm water, and a teaspoon of yeast. Sprinkle that on there. And let that settle for just about a few seconds. Put my yeast back in the freezer. And for mixing, I like one of these Danish mixing sticks made in Poland, but you can use any kind of spoon you like. So you mix in your yeast there. I assume it's still good. And then, this is very rough ratio. It's about a 50-50 ratio. So a cup of water would very roughly take a cup of flour. So I don't put it all in at once, start mixing. So I see I'm going to need more flour. And about now you can put in a teaspoon of salt. That mixed in. Yeah, I'm going to need more flour. So I'm getting well over, maybe it's 2 cups. I can't remember for sure. I always just go by the water. I measure the water and just keep adding flour until it gets to the point I like. This is the tricky part. Every recipe has a tricky part, and you can't give any exact rules, just rough. So you mix that up with your spoon or your stick. You able to see that okay? What it looks like in here? Just keep stirring. It's better to have too little flour than too much. If you get too much, it's going to get a stiff crust. If you like a stiff crust, then add away. Just keep adding. Tablespoon at a time, that's what I'm adding here. And eventually it'll start sticking to your spoon. So that's getting pretty close there. It's still very sticky. There's a way to handle stickiness when you need to. So maybe at about this point, it's just experience to tell you when you can keep adding a little bit more. Maybe you're saying, hey, I should have put 2 cups in to start with. Okay, now it's definitely getting the way I like it. So to get this off your spoon, I just put a little flour on my fingers here. Peel that off. If you have one of these things, be sure and wash it off right away or it turns to concrete. Get a little more flour. I just do a little bit of kneading, and I do it right in the bowl. A little bit of flour. Try and scrape down what's on your bowl here. Make sure there's no flour. I don't know if you can see, there's a little bit of flour still in the bottom. Keep doing this, and it'll get sticky again. don't worry if you have a little flour on your fingers. It won't hurt you. So now I would say that's pretty good. There's no flour in the bottom anymore, but it's still quite sticky. That's fine. So if I'm gonna have pizza in the evening, I usually make this in the morning and put some plastic covering on it, put it in the refrigerator during the day, and then before you're gonna make it in the evening, take it out of the refrigerator. Some people say it has to warm up for half an hour. I don't find it does. And then we'll take it from there in the afternoon. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon. Our pizza dough has been in the oven, the refrigerator most of the day. You don't have to do this. You can start working with it half an hour or so after you mix it up, whenever you do that. But I think it has a better flavor if it matures in the refrigerator. So I don't want to add more flour to get this out onto my pan. I just take my little container with flour in it and put a little flour on the edge of my scraper. Loosen up the dough. Pretty sticky, but that's okay. So it's kind of ready to come out. I use one of these round perforated pans, aluminum. They started putting Teflon on them and kind of wrecked them, but I think they've improved them. They make them with carbon steel with a non-stick coating that apparently works, based on the reviews, works pretty well. Cost about 20 bucks. But you can use a cookie sheet or whatever you have, pizza stone, they all work good. So this should fall out now. There we go. So it is very sticky. And the way to get around the stickiness is put a little olive oil on. Paul Hollywood told me how to do that. And just start working from the middle out to the edge. So if you want a more puffy crust, you wouldn't go all the way out. Maybe you'd stop about this far out and let it sit a little bit before you start putting the sauce and toppings on. Well, tonight we're going to make a thinner, more crispy one. So we'll just get further out towards the edge, get it thinner. And that's, you get the olive oil on, it doesn't, you don't have to add any more flour. So that'll make for a lighter crust. And you won't have cracked hands in the winter, thanks to the olive oil. So we're going right out. We could go right up the side, but I won't do that. I never do that. And that's about all there is to it. Put your tomato sauce on, cheese, however you want to do it, and then bake. I bake it at 500 degrees for about 8 minutes. See if the bottom. I'll take it out and lift up. You'll be able to lift the edge up and see how the bottom's coming along. And then now, one different thing I do with this double O flour is put it under the broiler for a minute or so to get the top nice and brown. And so this first cooking video I've done, I want to dedicate it to my niece Elizabeth. Thanks to her, I met my wife Teresa 51 years ago. So thanks, Elizabeth. And that's it for today.